gas ourselves up, but we short on breath. Talking about we eating, but who we really cooking. Dreaming about greens, but ain't nobody looking. No land, no acres, no seeds in the ground. When the hunger hits, who's gonna be around? We starving every day, and it just ain't the food. Feeding the hood garbage, got 'em acting a fool. We flossing with rides, stunting with chains, but these bars we spitting just bring more pain. We guilty as hell, preaching all these lies, selling debt to the kids, and we acting surprised. We commercialize the pain, broadcast the grief, tell the youth to hustle, but hide the beef. We glorify the trap, invite them to the flames, just like Reagan brought the crack on planes. Back in the 80s when the streets got soaked, my people, my brothers, all got choked. Reagan said no trades, but we know the deal. He left us in the dirt, man, that shit was real. I was just a shorty watching it unfold, old enough to see how we got sold. War on drugs, but it was war on us. Cops on our necks, no love, no trust. They labeled us thugs, beast on the block, made us kiss the pavement while they cleaned our clock. Prison became business thanks to Reagan's game. Free labor is the truth in America's name. Slavery's dead, man. That's just a word. Read the 13th Amendment. It's still absurd. They lock us in cages, serving time for life. Double digits for wisdom, cutting sharp like a knife. I'm here to say, the chains in the air, it's time we break free, start showing we care. No more flexing for nothing, no more selling out. It's time to rise up, time to end the drought. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This morning, before we get into all this, I got independent music. And here you go with Ty Dolla $ign, Miss You Too, and we'll be right back right after this.
Swing in the park on the curb, vision is coming in blur. She want them double CCCs all over her purse. Promise you never leave me, I'ma give you just what you deserve. She want shopping sprees, wanna ball at Eric. Shawty a brat, she just be throwing a fit. Fullin' them drugs, back at the club, we lit. I'm tryna make it easy, girl, you should leave with me. You know I miss you, you miss me too. Sure, we can do whatever you wanna do. I'm talking to you, baby, yeah. I was sure love, but it drive me this crazy, yeah, yeah. Ooh, I'm talking to you, baby. I miss you, and you know
Balenciaga is the key to your heart. Get me started, girl, don't get me started. Face card on a platinum Amex card. Run up them charges, I'm gonna hardest about you. I'm gonna want about you. Stick up the whole store about you. Mew mew, I'll put you in all night, no. Wedding rings on every finger, no wedding anytime soon. Vintage Jeffrey, Campbell on my damsel, let her hold it down now, like my hands full. Love this at the tone, make it hard to unfuck with me. Things that you can't unsee. This is showing you I miss you.
You know I miss you, you miss me too. Sure, we can do whatever you wanna do. I'm talking to you, baby, yeah. I was sure love, but it drive me this crazy, yeah, yeah. Ooh, I'm talking to you, baby. I miss you, and you know
That was Ty Dolla $ign. This morning, the first thing that I want to talk about is at 8:15 this morning, they had the House and Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Policy Committee. I wanted to just play the public part, the public comment. There was Brad Traherne from Rochester, Minnesota. There was another individual, and then a lady, and then as well there was Nathaniel Olson. So that's what I really wanted to get into at first. So as you see here you go with the public comment section of the Fraud Prevention Committee.
The other testifiers, you can join him at the table now. Thank you. Mr. O'Neill, please state your name for the record, and we look forward to your testimony.
James O'Neill. Chair Robbins, Ranking Member Pinto, and committee members, thank you for today's hearing. I am Jay O'Neill, representing Autism Treatment Association of Minnesota, or ATAM, a nonprofit organization of about 30 member agencies, all working to make effective therapy accessible to all Minnesota families affected by autism spectrum disorders. I am also the owner and president of Behavioral Dimensions in St. Louis Park. We provide in-home and telehealth services using the principles of applied behavior analysis under the EIDBI Medicaid benefit to roughly 140 clients in both metro and rural areas since 2018. ATAM works with numerous autism service providers to address clinical and administrative questions, share resources, and help each other navigate complex EIDBI compliance. There are an incredible number of steps that must occur prior to, during, and after any services are delivered to a child client. Prior to Medicaid enrollment, each individual provider who delivers services must complete a DHS background study, sign a DHS provider agreement, and attest to meeting the criteria for the level of services such as the QSP level 1, 2, or 3, supply proof of college transcripts, diplomas, certifications, and licenses, and then get DHS approval. Each provider completes a comprehensive evaluation of the client, followed by the development of an ITP, both developed with and signed by the guardian and licensed professional prior to approval from the state medical reviewer. As services are delivered, we ensure all training and supervision is provided according to DHS requirements. Many of the agencies who utilize the principles of ABA have a hierarchy of training and supervision based on decades of research. State licensed and nationally certified professionals train lower level professionals to implement the ITPs. We must document every billable session with information required by DHS. We welcome DHS audits and legislators' evaluation of our programs so that we can receive feedback and continue to demonstrate enormous return on investments to clients, families, and the taxpayers. Minnesota's EIDBI service providers want to be nation-leading examples of success. Until very recently, ATAM and DHS had good ongoing collaboration and engagement on developing, implementing, and assessing EIDBI policies. ATAM is committed to fraud prevention, and we respectfully ask DHS and legislators to engage with trusted providers as partners in designing strategies that can both protect taxpayer dollars and ensure children's timely access to care. Thank you, and I welcome questions.
Thank you. I think we'll go through everyone's testimony and then see if there's any questions. Okay, next up is Dr. Eric Larson. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record.
Thank you, Chair Robbins and members of the committee. I'm a licensed psychologist and also a licensed behavior analyst, and therefore both a QSP and a CMDE provider. And I serve as a chair of the Autism Treatment Association of Minnesota. The context here is that the lifetime costs of autism are widely accepted to range from $1 to $5 million per child for their lifetime. And early intervention is also widely accepted to be important in bending that cost curve downward. Yet families have had to advocate, such as Brad Trahan here sitting next to me, have had to advocate over the past 30 years to get access to the effective forms of early intervention because insurance companies in the past routinely placed caps on their share of coverage and imposed controls over the kinds of supervision and oversight that are necessary to provide high-quality treatment. In 2013, the state passed a new law authorizing the EIDBI TEFRA program. And this program was designed to cover the full cost of the expertise needed to provide effective treatment and also individualize the complicated treatment. So the system was built to evaluate every 6 months the level of services each child would receive. And instead of paying too much for the children who were low needs and too little for the children with high needs, find the sweet spot, the right level of services based on the child's responsiveness to treatment. Yet today, in the effort to fight fraud, the risk in the kinds of AI supervision, AI analysis that resulted in 90% of the claims being questioned is risking that we're going to go back to this broad brush, simplistic management of the program and not continue to provide the high level of supervision and oversight that each child needs to reach cost-effective levels of treatment. So what we're looking at, because so much of the problem of the pandemic came from lack of direct site visits and oversight by the Department of Human Services, we're recommending to continue to provide the high level of quality that the EIDBI program envisioned, utilize licensed behavior analysts such as myself to provide independent, direct observation regularly at these centers and home-based programs, read the actual treatment plans that are developed for the children, observe the treatment in real time, and evaluate the competence of the providers during these on-site inspections. This would be done by, again, by skilled licensed behavior analysts rather than regulators who do not have the skills to understand what they're seeing during the site visits. Equally important is to engage the parents with direct on-site interviews to identify any concerns that they have, but also to evaluate whether the parents have actually been fully informed of the services they're getting and the treatment claims that are being filed on their behalf.
Right.
These interviews can also help identify parents who are accepting kickbacks for placing their children in illegitimate programs.
Thank you. Please try to wrap it up. We have to get going.
Thank you. I'll defer to Mr. Trahan, who has very important information to share.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee, Mr. Trahan. Please state your full name for the record.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Brad Trahan. Thanks for having me. My name is Brad Trahan, former chair of the Minnesota Autism Task Force back in 2012, and a parent of a son, Reese, age 25 years old with severe autism and still living at home with my wife and I. Every official who helped create or allowed to continue the now plainly visible culture of negligence within our state agencies must be held accountable. Oversight was treated as a formality that was never carried out. Accountability was dismissed as too burdensome rather than embraced as a fundamental responsibility of public service. When government fails in that duty, it's never the powerful who suffer the consequences. It's the most vulnerable. The question we may ask, or what we need to ask, is how did we get here? It was all preventable. We got here through a combination of rapid program expansion, insufficient oversight, and a system that prioritized access without building equally strong accountability and common sense safeguards. That imbalance created an opening for bad actors who pounced on this opportunity. The fraud is infuriating. It's a betrayal. In 2012, Minnesota lawmakers from both parties came together to pass strong, meaningful autism insurance reform at the state level. We honored every mandate that then Governor Dayton asked of us. However, the one mandate Governor Dayton didn't ask of us was to anticipate autism therapy fraud. Then in 2016, after 13 years and 8 months, Mayo Clinic self-insured employers stepped up to provide coverage for employee dependents, further strengthening access and setting a responsible example. This fraud undermines years of bipartisan work and risks harming the very individuals the system was designed to protect. This fraud damages our future by means of reduced access to services. Private and self-insured may reconsider the scope of autism coverage and increase public doubt about autism services. The money's gone. Accountability is all we have. For parents and individuals with autism, accountability is not political, it's personal. We live every day fighting for services. We have been knocked down before, but we never get knocked out. We demand transparency. We demand reform. And we demand that those responsible answer for what happened, because the individuals and families who rely on these services, as well as taxpayers, deserve nothing less. In closing, to anyone in the Minnesota government who allowed billions of fraud, why wouldn't you hold any of those individuals accountable? Thank you for the opportunity to testify in front of this committee.
Thank you. And would you also like to testify, ma'am? I don't have you on my list.
Sorry, Jody McCarthy.
Before it goes on, I just had to say about Brad Treherne. I think that's very inspiring, motivational. His testifier, whatever you want to call it, statement. But then you have to look at, are you, I get it, you're up here fighting for your son, but do you really care about your community? Because I say your ties to the community are with scammers. Yammy Bear, Charles Jackson, William Bud Whitehorn, Andre Crockett, Kim Norton, and that's my thing of like, I really do get it. But this is the one thing that I can't understand, right? Is how do people, you go up here and you ask for help, accountability, because at the end of the day, there's no really getting that money back. Motherfuckers already spent it. And that's billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars that we'll probably never see. And the only thing that I do agree with Bradley is that the only thing we can see is accountability. And we're not seeing that because the people that are in elected spots in the legislature, in the House, the Senate, the governor, we're not seeing accountability. We're seeing a bunch of finger blaming. That's all we're doing. We're seeing finger pointing. Oh, it's their fault. It's their fault. We're not even getting to the core of it. And I really appreciated the fact that Bradley spoke out that he, back in 2012, and now people have been using these, like you said, it was bipartisan support. They sit here and do this. And then when COVID comes along, we get a lot of those guardrails and oversight away. It wasn't there. People weren't doing on site. A lot of it was through Zooms or Zoom, FaceTiming. That's how it literally was done. And to be honest, was that I get it during COVID, right? We had the little 6 feet distance and masks, but all that fraud was going around. I'm talking about billions and millions of dollars that were supposed to go to the community to actually help people. Didn't matter if it was autism, didn't matter if it was PCAs, recovery, people that were homeless. It didn't matter. It was all the way around. And we're not seeing any kind of accountability. And I know, like, this is the one thing that I really do get, and I've stated this plenty of times, is one thing that I can't stand, right, is I've talked to some legislators, and they'll say, well, I didn't have any control. I was in the, not the majority, but they were in the minor, right? They weren't in no kind of position to fight any of the bills because there was a trifecta. And I understand that. But why couldn't you, all these little sound bites and shit, I didn't understand that, like they were actually doing something. That's the only part that frustrates me, is because really when it was time to do something, you didn't do anything. You just stood there. Because a lot of the people that were coming to you with messages, you were more worried about the messenger. So the message, that you never cared about it because, number one, that person maybe didn't have a spotless background, or there was things that, people could throw out there against them in their past. So automatically that made it where they would deflect everybody from the message because they were more worried about the messenger. And that's how we're literally in this problem. Because I can remember in 2022, when a presentation that Robert had put together and I had presented it in front of Republicans, Walter Hudson and Pam Altendorf. I'm not trying to hate on them or anything like that, but it really pointed out of the DBs, how people were doing business as, and it wasn't about the Somalian community. It was about the Black community. It was about the poor communities in Minnesota. And to be honest, I don't really feel like they took that serious because it wasn't anything that they could turn into political. But the minute that there was Somalis in there, then that's all they really cared about. That's all they cared about. And when you go up here and you hear people's testimonies, or you've heard AJ Legault's reports, or Kerry Levin, I think he is Kerry Levin, but you see like Lou Goose or even Fox 9 and different interviews, and people go out here and say things. And to be honest, I don't think people really put it together. I don't think they put the pieces or the parts that people put out here. They're not really listening. Because if Minnesota actually would wake up and would see that most of these programs that we have were started for good reasons. But when COVID came along, there was no oversight. We wrote legislation and executive orders and all types of shit to not be transparent. And then when people are asking for transparency, there's loopholes around it. They can redact things. They can say that, oh, well, that's not public information because they're either a minor or there's a countless other shit, right? That they try to use. And you have to stand up. In my eyes, I really do feel like Minnesota has to stand up. We have to stand up and demand accountability. We have to demand it, because being nice with these people isn't getting us nowhere. That's what I'm saying. Of like, when I sit here and I look at the Minnesota legislator, and I've done some groups with Republicans, and because I really do want to be a Republican, I shouldn't say that. I really do want to make change. I don't want to just talk about it. And I feel like Republicans know that it's out there. They know that it's out there, and a lot of them turn a blind eye. I look at Dwayne Quam or Patricia Mueller, and these are legislators in my area. Do you know how often I see Greg Davids, who only lives like 25 miles away? I don't ever see that nigga. He's all the way in Preston. That is another shit. Even when I did live in Preston, I never seen Greg Davids. And that is, to me, is the frustrating part, because it's so hard to make legislators, or to make really, honestly, anybody listen, because they don't want to go up against the majority, even though they know what the majority is doing wrong. Until we honestly switch that, because that's what we're seeing with Trump. I don't know, people are going to be like, oh, it's bullshit. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. How do we know? I'll tell you right now is that everything that I'm seeing is political when it comes down to some of these court cases. Even, okay, I'll look at it like this, right? With this church protest. And I'm going to play that next with, actually, let me get into it, because there's still the woman, and then Nathaniel Olson is coming up. So let me be quiet.
I'm a citizen.
Okay.
And I've worked in government for a number of years. And I, too, am appalled at what's happened here. But it comes down to something very basic. We are all self-governing citizens of the United States of America and of Minnesota. We voluntarily pay taxes to take care of our vulnerable. So we have hired, I went to one of the meetings on prevention, where Erin Campbell, the head of the budget and of all HR, testified to us that she does not know her legislatively mandated job, and she does not do it. She didn't deny it. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, good, now something's going to happen. I've seen nothing happen. It really does come down to something very basic. We decide what we want for our people. We know that they're being paid by taxpayer dollars, so everyone needs to be held accountable to their job. What is your job? Do you know what your job is? I listened to a panel up here today tell me that they don't know what their job is. Not one of them up here knows what their job is. A year ago, they hired an investigator. But when you asked him what he investigated and how it was investigated, he couldn't tell you. That's where my taxpayer dollars are going? We need to stop this. And we need to stop it at some very basic levels. Erin Campbell needs to be held accountable. She needs to step down and put somebody in who will be. She has the authority to hire people to go into each program to help where they need help. And there's going to be times when people need help. But she has that authority. So we should be putting people in there to help when they need help. But we absolutely have to keep people accountable to the programs. Those programs are funded. They're funded by taxpayer dollars. There are people out there shoveling. There are people out there laying blocks. There are people out there working really hard labor jobs and giving a part of their labor that these things can be withheld and held up. I want the kids with autism to get the care that they need. And yes, right now, I suppose there's some question if they're going to get that or not, because I've got to be honest with you. I could take a pencil and a pad of paper and go in and manage that office better than it's being managed right now.
Okay,
All you have to do is define what needs to be done and hold people accountable.
Thank you. You're out of time, and we have another testifier standing by the door. Yes, so if someone could make room for our next testifier, and then we'll see if there's any questions from members, and then I'm not used to being done at 10 o'clock, so we got to keep people. Please, welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record.
Madam Chair, I'm Nathaniel M. Olson, the disability advocate from the state of Minnesota. And again, we heard the Department of Human Services speak out again, but I kind of wanted to make somebody, the Department of Human Services, aware about something that happened on the news a week ago. We had one of our own Minnesota citizens went homeless for 8.5 months. Where was accountability then? When were you going to tell the Fraud Oversight Committee that this autism person went homeless for 8.5 months? Do you know how cold it is in the state of Minnesota? It was cold in January. Governor Walz doesn't care what's happening to the American citizens. What he only cares about is fighting ICE and blaming Trump. This needs to stop. There's another person that the Minnesota Reform is talking about that is going to go homeless. This is crazy. The Department of Human Services needs to do their job. Madam Chair, I'm actually would like you to write a letter to the federal government, because the federal government needs to do a full investigation on the Department of Human Services.
I did write a letter asking for a full audit by CMS last July, and now they are working on it.
This is outrageous. How many people are going to suffer under the state? How many? This needs to stop right now. The Department of Human Services needs to do their job, because Governor Walz only cares about the illegal immigrants that we can protect. They're not helping. It is time to put Minnesota citizens first. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Man, so that's what I just wanted to really play the people that spoke this morning. And what I wanted to really get into the show now is you're going to see some people. This isn't actually Philadelphia. This isn't local. So people came up and spoke at a Philadelphia city council in the public comment section, and but spoke at the city council. And one of them brought up Jerome Treadwell, Richardson, whatever you want to call him, about one of the church people, and how actually the city of Philadelphia wrote a resolution. So let me get into Philadelphia Flips Red.
My name is Sheila Armstrong. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I have to be honest that I'm not happy to be here today because of what God had put on my heart to say today. I really try to stay in my lane. I created Cooker for Autism so I could do my advocacy work in peace and mind my own business and just help the people that I like to help, because I don't do politics. I don't like politics, and y'all know this. God put on my heart a warning that is coming from the book of Matthew 6:5 and Matthew 23:15. The message is, woe to you elected officials of the law, you are hypocrites. Woe to you that organize on the backs of parents and students of the Philly School District, but yet more schools are closing. Woe to you that supported the plastic bag ban, but manufacturers are using plastic for everything. That hardship of people paying for bags to take their grocery home. Woe to you that's supported the resign and run legislation, but now trying to change it because it now affects you. Woe to you that shout one Philly, but villainize those that disagree with you. Woe to you that claims to be representations of God, but support legislation that is against him. Woe to you that says you support women and talk bad about any woman that stands against you or whatever your policies or anything that you're doing. Woe to you that work for special interest groups that donated to your campaign, but leave the rest of us people out here desperately searching for hope from somewhere. Woe to you that continually saying the ICE out, because in these streets, it's being interpreted as illegal immigrants is in, and that this council cares more about illegal immigrant than the American citizens in this city. Woe to you, elected officials, hypocrites. Woe to you.
Damn, them are facts. Hey, what about these grocery stores? Yeah, she said something about plastic and they putting plastic on everything. I tell you what, the prices at certain stores like Aldi is nice, but I tell you what, man, when you got to go and you got to carry your groceries in your bare hands, it makes you think, why are they charging me for a bag? Because clearly what she said. Now, but this is a city council meeting up in Philly regarding them trying to enforce. They're trying to put rules. They're trying to put laws into place to prevent ICE officers from doing their job effectively.
I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. As we continue to look at local resistance nationwide against Trump's crackdown, we go to Philadelphia, where a group of at least 15 city council members have backed a package of 7 bills aimed at combating federal immigration enforcement operations in Philadelphia, including codifying the city's sanctuary protections. The bill would also prohibit federal immigration agents from concealing their identities, covering their faces, or using unmarked cars. It also requires judge-signed warrants and prohibits city workers from cooperating with ICE. The efforts are being led by Philadelphia City Council members Kendra Brooks, who will join us in a minute, and Rue Landau. They co-authored the legislation package. All but 2 of the city's 17 council members have co-sponsored the ICE Out package, indicating the legislation may have a veto-proof majority. In response to the legislation being introduced, Philadelphia Mayor Cheryl Parker made one of her first public statements about Trump's immigration raid, saying on social media, quote, "We're aware of the potential challenges we face. We understand the public's fear of the unknown as it relates to federal policy associated with immigration," unquote. Meanwhile, Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner has launched a national coalition of prosecutors that would hold federal immigration agents accountable if they're found to have violated state or local laws and civil rights protections. The coalition includes prosecutors in Virginia, Arizona, and Texas. Last week, DA Krasner issued this warning to federal immigration.
Yeah, that's not what, so I'm going to change it for a minute. This is what I actually wanted to show y'all. This is from Philly Flips Red. I thought that video was going to play it, but it didn't. So,
Jerome Richardson, his First Amendment right was not violated.
So hold on.
Good morning, everybody. My name is John McAuley. I'm with a grassroots organization called Flip Philly Red. We're here to bring you something different because you've been voting Democrat for the mayor's office for the past 70 years. In regards to Jerome Richardson, his First Amendment right was not violated. In fact, he committed a federal crime, namely the FACE Act, which protects access to places of religious places from interference and obstruction. He also committed a conspiracy act, which he plotted to deprive people of practicing religion in church service. So his First Amendment was not violated. This conspiracy act is also called the KKK Act. It derived from the Enforcement Act, which actually came from a Republican president by the name of Ulysses S. Grant. The reason why he had to put this in here is because the Ku Klux Klan, which came from the Democrat Party, was using force and intimidation to stop Black Americans from voting. You guys, every single one of you, violated my First Amendment 2 weeks ago when y'all cut my mic short. And y'all want to sit up here and cry for Jerome Richardson. You guys are worried about what's going on with Tampon Tim in Minnesota when we got problems here in Philadelphia that you need to be worried about. This is a silly resolution that I saw names like co-sponsored on there, President Kenyatta, Jamie Gunthier, Kendra Brooks, Goofy. Every single one of you, goofy. We got a Philadelphia school district that ranks at the bottom 22% in the entire Pennsylvania. Yeah, turn your back. And
Yeah, they cut his mic again. Damn.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's crazy how much like a person's political view, and that really trips me out because to me, I'll be honest, that wasn't fair. You don't cut a person's mic. That's where I see like the political discourse in America and then even in Minnesota is really, really wild to me. It makes me like wonder what is really important because to me, I honestly don't feel like it's us. It's like people that are poor who actually want these services, who actually are asking for help, and a lot of people aren't helping them. Instead of helping them, they maybe mock them and to me that's crazy. The next thing that I want to talk about is Senate File 473. Senator Mary Knush authored it, whatever. It's a constitutional amendment to provide equal rights under the law and prohibiting discrimination based on a list of characteristics. This is the ERA. This is what maybe a lot of people don't know about, but this is to keep actually men in women's sports, women's prisons. But to me, I really do feel like a lot of people need to stand up and be loud and proud. So I wanted to go over some of these letters. There is a lot of, there's some testifiers here. Here's today at 12:30, the Legislative Judiciary and Public Safety Meeting, Committee, whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say whatever you want to call it. So there's Melissa Heising. She's the Legislative Director, the Minnesota AFL-CIO. There is Mai Thor, Chief Program Officer of the ARC Minnesota. Former Representative Betty Folliard, founder of ERA Minnesota. Jill Hasday, Distinguished McKnight University Professor, Centennial Professor of Law. I don't really care about these people's titles. Here you go with Jamie Ali. This is the one that I really want people to pay attention to. If people don't know who Jamie Ali is, Alpha News and Les Collins did a segment about Jamie and about how in the DOC they're allowing men who claim to be trans women into women's prisons and really making it unsafe and really don't care about what other female inmates say because as you can see, they tried to silence her. And she is speaking up and like I told her this morning, I'll be watching at 12:30 and I hope she does great because this is something that needs to be talked about. And so Jamie is the president of Trauma Affected Individual, Not for Transgender Men, Equally Divided. And so I asked her yesterday, I was like, why do they have tainted on there and then it's on nobody else's? And she told me that is tainted is the acronym for her organization. Yeah, I don't like this. This is the one part that it goes back on all the way over. Let me see. ERA. See, this was like a lot of support shit. And then they automatically tell you if it's a pro or con. That to me is kind of crazy. Yeah, let's see if I get into somebody's Here goes one. We'll read this. Tessa Yeager, opposition. Dear members of the Judiciary Committee, I am writing to express my opposition to SF 473. The language of this bill is deceptive, potentially harmful to children, and not aligned with the views of many Minnesota residents. According to recent survey data from I don't know what that is, Gov, approximately 68 to 73% of Minnesotans strongly align with some religion, removing religious and our strongly held belief language from current protected status does not reflect the value or convictions of most of our state's population. Furthermore, the inclusion of gender identity and gender expressions as a constitutional protection categories raises significant concerns. These concepts remain the subject of ongoing scientific, legal, and public debate. I really want to talk about the scientific because just a couple of weeks ago, there was a lawsuit against Mayo. And a part of Michael Joyner, that's who was a doctor or whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say what you want to call it. I think he was a doctor. He was a scientific researcher. He did things about transgenders and then even something about COVID. And he got written up for putting out actually what his research uncovered. It didn't make Mayo look basically wasn't their narrative. The science that he did, it was even when it came to transgenders, the testosterone, when people switch over, his science, whatever his research, couldn't predict, couldn't basically say that there wasn't any basically his research went against what Mayo actually wanted to put out there, that men should be allowed in women's sports. That's not what his research his science, whatever you want to call it, found out. So that's when I started to notice that really people really don't care about the truth as long as they can make their narrative stick. And instead of actually being transparent and giving people all the I don't know, the facts, I guess that's what I'll say, the facts. Just because that's not what you wanted to see or that's not what you wanted to hear. It's the truth. It's actually what his science was showing him. And to me, that's a part that Minnesotans and Americans should actually know about. Because I know that there is a lot of things that are potentially going to come out in the next couple months that I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's not fair. They hate us. They want to kill us. And that's not the rhetoric that is really out here. And that's what really pisses me off about people is because just because I don't believe the bullshit that you spew doesn't mean that I hate you. Doesn't mean that I don't want to, I want you dead or any of that shit, right? I don't want to be a part of it. Why is that so hard that my morals and values won't allow me to do those kind of things that I used to be able to do? I used to be able to tell little white lies because I thought I was protecting people. No, it only made the situation worse. My whole life, right? I shouldn't say my whole life, because I have been a work in progress, committed work in progress since May 2020. And I was a person that told little white lies or left out parts of the story because I felt like it didn't matter. And that hurt me. In the long run, it was okay at that time, but in the long run, it hurt me. And that is me. That's not them. Because trust is earned. That's how I look at it. Trust is earned, not given. Trust is earned and not given. And some people just don't see it like that. That's why I have a hard time with niggas who consider themselves Democrats, because it's like y'all believe in a lot of bullshit and you don't really stand up to your party. You don't stand up to your so-called allies, because we still have people that are in Minnesota prisons unjustly and haven't committed, they maybe committed crimes while they were out here, but not the crime that they were convicted of. And that's the really, really, that's the really, 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 really big problem. That's the really big problem, is when we don't want the truth out here because it makes people feel uncomfortable. Who cares? I would rather the truth be out here than the lie, because I can't defend the lie anymore. I can defend the truth because the truth defends itself, because it's factual. That's what I don't get, is how many people can sit here and say that Black Lives Matter or that they're for the Black community, and you stand with Republicans, or not Republicans, Democrats. Or you stand with leftist ass niggas, because I will tell you right now, they are trying to extinct us. They're trying to make sure that the immigration community is okay, not the blacks. Because if you really look at it, the 1965 Civil Rights Bill, or 64, was a mess. Because I'm going to tell you right today, they're using it in the wrong way that it was supposed to be implemented. The way that it was supposed to be implemented, they fucked it up. So instead of making sure that Black people had inclusion, equity, that we were seen equally, yeah, that shit went out the door. Because then it was about trans men, trans women. All men can have babies. We have 72 genders. Man, listen, that's why you couldn't walk. Kindergarten Cop, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the little boy that says, girls have vaginas and boys have penises. You couldn't say that shit nowadays, because first of all, they'll say, well, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. And it's like, wait, why are you trying to confuse these people? Why are you trying to confuse people? I really didn't understand it. Back in, I don't know, I think it was like 2015 or whatever. My daughter was in, I think she was a freshman or sophomore, talking about my oldest daughter, Sabrina. And I ended up going to a Mayo game, and one of the people that she introduced me to was like a pansexual or whatever. And it's like, wait, what the fuck is that? Like, I ain't never, all my life, I had never heard that. So that was actually my first kind of encounter with like all this extra gender things. And I didn't overly think about it or whatever, but I was like, hey, just going through a phase. It is what it is, right? But I really didn't look at it like there was more to it. I just thought it was a phase and that was it. So I really, to me, instead of being peculiar or trying to understand it or anything, I personally thought that it was just a phase, because we've all seen that shit. We've all seen it. So to me, that's what I thought it was. But then you end up saying 2020 really opened my eyes to really how this LGBTQ and this trans movement has really, you have Black people out here that call themselves a queer Black man or whatever. It's like, to me, you're not putting your Blackness first, because we still live in a country that could really give a fuck about us, because at the end of the day, we push up these immigration fools. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Maybe I'm gonna go to that, because that's really, actually, I'll just wait, because that, to me, there was a press conference, I don't know, I think it was Friday, and it was the Somali community. And it's like, damn, They literally asked for reparations, and they put it out there. They literally put it out there that they wanted reparations for the trauma that ICE has done to Minnesota. And it's like, but wait, what have you guys done? They're asking for money. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. ICE has maybe, nope, I'm not even gonna go there because I'm not gonna bend on that shit. I'm not gonna bend. People came over here on statuses and they overstayed their welcome, or they didn't care about their status and still stayed here, or they were removed from the country and instead they stayed. To me, you're being here illegally. You broke the law, even if immigration is not a state matter. And I understand states and counties and cities want to get involved. But listen, how are you going to get involved? Because you're breaking the law. Here's the thing that I want to say, right? Because this totally fucking blasts me, right? This totally, maybe blast isn't drives me crazy. So back in 2022, Katie Wright had cop watched. She had seen a situation, so she pulled out her camera, started recording. One of the officers came over there and told her, "Oh, you can't record, you can't do this, you can't do that." And then as soon as she said her name, they grabbed her and all that. As soon as she said her name, then they started acting differently because, first of all, Brooklyn Center killed her son, Dante Wright. And she was filming Brooklyn Center PD. So to me, there was a lot of trauma there. There was things that she wanted to make sure that those babies, those children, those kids, I shouldn't say children, those kids, those young adults got home to their families. They maybe had committed a crime, whatever, but still at the end of the day, that's not a death sentence. So that's what she was doing. Her right was to record. And now I see that there's these ICE watch groups or whatever. And it's like, y'all don't even cop watch like that. So why are you doing ICE like that? You want to call them secret police. You want to call them this, and that, and everything, but that they're federal law enforcement. Because I don't see you motherfuckers doing Hennepin County. I don't see you doing Minneapolis police that way. Because when people were cop watching, I didn't see this kind of reaction. When Katie Wright was manhandled by Brooklyn Center, I'll be honest, there was a few people that came out. There was Damick, her son, Tashira, Cortez. There's a whole press conference. You go on Fox 9 and look it up. I think it was May 7th, 2022. Look it up. It's all out there. There wasn't many people there. There wasn't many people there. But now everybody's got whistles. Everybody's like, hey, these people are bad. But when we did that, this is the crazy thing when I don't fucking understand, right? Is when we were saying the same shit back in the 90s, the early 2000s, they didn't hear us. They didn't listen to us either. Because you know why? Because we were pieces of shit. Because in their eyes, they felt like we deserved that shit. No matter if it was our skin color, or no matter if it was our classification, if we were poor, middle class, rich, because all they seen was that we were a black person. So right away, we automatically have a different type of circumstances, experiences than a lot of people here in America do have. Because we've gone the same thing that these white people, these immigrants are going through with ICE. That's what Black America has gone through for years here in America. And nobody listens to us. Nobody listens to us. But it makes me sad. I'm going to be honest. It makes me sad. It don't even make me frustrated. It make me angry. None of that. It makes me sad when I hear Black people out here, they're kidnapping people. They're kidnapping people. Because when niggas was talking about the jump out boys, and we're talking about the motherfucking Minneapolis Police Department or Hennepin County Sheriffs, because it was some kind of squad they had who were taking kids down to the Mississippi River, black and brown. Y'all didn't believe us, even though it's in court documents, it's in court transcripts. Y'all didn't believe us. But now, this is the crazy thing that I can't understand, right? Especially what happened at Roosevelt. There was an incident that happened where they said that ICE just pulled up at a high school. Well, that wasn't the case. There was an immigrant who had ran in there. So instead of letting ICE in there to get the immigrant, they made a big ass scene. They made a big ass scene. And for what? I don't even see niggas in our own neighborhoods acting like this. I don't see niggas acting like this. So I don't understand it. I'm like, why are black people, and I'm gonna even go say about Tashira, or not Tashira, my bad, Nakima, because you know what has happened to black people here in Minnesota. In Minnesota. And so this is Nakima's letter to the Senate Judiciary and Public Safety Committee that's happening today at 12:30. Dear Chair Latz and members of the committee, my name is Nakima Levy Armstrong. I am a civil rights attorney, ordained reverend, working mother of 4, founder of the Racial Justice Network, and former president of the Negroes Always Asking Caucasians Permission. For more than 2 decades, I have fought for equality and equal justice under the law in Minnesota. I write in strong support of Senate File 0473, the Minnesota Equal Rights Amendment. Throughout my legal career and advocacy work, I have witnessed how deeply inequality is embedded in our systems and how hard communities must fight to secure protections that should have been guaranteed from the start. I have represented individuals whose rights were compromised because protections were incomplete, are vulnerable to political change. That is why constitutional protection matters. The Minnesota ERA would explicitly prohibit discrimination based on race, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, and sex, including pregnancy and pregnancy outcomes, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation. These categories represent real people who deserve full and equal protection under the law. Statutes alone are not enough. Laws can be amended or repealed. A constitutional amendment provides durability and establishes a clear, elevated standard that prevents failure legislators from easily rolling back fundamental rights. As a reverend, I laugh at this shit. As a reverend, I believe equality is both a constitutional promise and a moral imperative. As a mother of 4, I want my children and all Minnesota children to grow up in a state where equal protection is guaranteed, not dependent on shifting political power. I want to say this. You talk about your 4 kids. Let's talk about your stepkids. Let's talk about your stepkids. You want to talk about, this is what I don't understand. As a reverend, you're okay with walking into a church? Because anytime white people have walked into our churches, black churches, they came there to do a bunch of bullshit. So how could you expect anything when you see leaders who walk into a black church and say, yelling and chanting? These motherfuckers don't know what you guys are gonna do. So I don't understand it. Even when it comes to Don Lemon and Georgia Ford, how was that journalism? How was that journalism? Because to me, that's not journalism. You go into a church. I'm okay with all types of protesting, but I'm not comfortable going into a church that is federally protected, because those state laws don't matter at the end of the day. It's federally protected. So And it shouldn't be seen as political power. Even if it is shifting or whatever, it should be seen as wrong. So why are you doing it? That's what I don't understand is they call out supposedly wrong shit, but what about the wrong shit that your family was doing in the community, Miss Armstrong? I don't understand that. We have so many people that say they fight for Minnesota, right? But in the last 4 or 5 years, you can call them out for bullshit. It doesn't matter if it's Rochester, if it happened to motherfuckers still out here drinking and driving. But yet y'all say y'all protect the community? Get the fuck out of here. How are you defending the community if you're still old enough to drink and drive, or if you're old enough to drink and drive as an adult and you're doing that shit? How are you fighting for the community? Because first of all, the minute you got in your car, knew you were drunk as fuck, you shouldn't be driving nowhere. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, this makes me a better driver. Come on, man. That shit, that's what I'm saying. When is the part where we grow? Because I don't see growth at all when it comes to Nikema. I see bullshit. No matter if it comes to Traherne Cruz, it doesn't matter if it comes to Chantel Allen. It doesn't matter when because the motherfuckers ain't growing and they haven't made our fucking community better. So I want to say right now, while they're sitting here standing strong behind the Somali community about reparations, where are y'all standing for the black population, the black community? We don't have nobody fighting for us. That's what I'm saying. And people be asking me, well, where's the legislation for reparations or anything that has to do with the black community? Because I can tell you right now, it ain't coming from Bobby Joe Champion. That nigga doing more for the Somali and the immigration community than he does for his own fucking black community. Same thing with Latricia Vital. Don't none of these niggas do what's right for the black community. They do what's right for their fucking corporate friends. The people that have money in their pockets, the kickbacks. Because you can't say that. Today I'm gonna go through and see. Actually, no, I'm gonna do it on live. I'm gonna do it on live. I'm gonna go on Minnesota court records. Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna share this. Hold on, let me get there and then I'm gonna share it. All right. So, attorney and Nikema. Last name, let's go Armstrong. All right, Nikema. All right, let's see. Ain't nothing. Levy Armstrong. Let's go Levy. Levy Armstrong. Oh, yeah, okay, so I had to put both her thing in there. What the hell? I don't think this is her. Hell no, I don't know what the hell. Y'all, this shit is old. It's like 2015. I'm putting in the attorney. Huh. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. I don't know. I'll look it up in a little bit. But I want to go back to the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee hearing. So that was Nikema. I showed you a con letter. Yeah, it really does trip me out to see how much of like the so-called black leaders are really sticking up for black people in Minnesota, because I don't see them out here at city council meetings. I don't see them out here at the committee hearings, when it's time to, where's the fucking black agenda? I want to go into this press conference that they had on Friday, and I want to show, actually, here it goes right here. Oh, whoops.
The president of the Somali Wayna Relief Agency. Welcome, Zephyr.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it working? To all Muslims and brothers, and good afternoon to everyone watching today. My name is Sarah Abdallah. I am a small business owner. I am a community organizer. And today we stand together as a family, workers, business owners, faith leaders, community members. These people beside me are the bravest responders to this crisis taking place in Minnesota. Our community in Minneapolis and across Minnesota have experienced fear, separations, job loss, and severe economic costs. By the action of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, I wanted to thank our neighbors also for their unconditional support, for standing outside the precinct and making sure we're okay and safe, for making a whistleblower to warn us when ICE is around. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I also want to say thank you to those who drove across the state lines just to buy from us and support our small businesses. I want to thank you for also my neighbors for bringing food so we can provide those trapped in their houses and unable to walk or go out from their community because they fear being catched and thrown to the jail. I also want to thank you for the thoughtfulness for bringing dates and water so Somali communities are able to break their first Ramadan with dignity, because Ramadan is not the same this year for us. I also wanted to thank my brothers and sisters, Somali brothers and sisters. I know Ramadan is hard for you, but you are the bravest people I know. You survived civil wars, and hang in there. You can go through this one. Also, but that's not it. We must repair the damage by making sure that this is for our governors, for our state, and for our legislators. We want to make sure that the existing relief program fits into our criteria of small business owners, not those who make $200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis. Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community. ICE out, families in. ICE out. ICE out, small business in. ICE out, small business in. ICE out, justice in. ICE out, justice in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zafira, for that great speech. Next, I'm going to invite Waris Mahmoud, who's a Somali business owner here in Carmel. Waris.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, all of you. I will say thank you whoever is here today, and I will say thank you for all Minnesota neighbors. That's what I'm saying. I'm a small business owner, and I'm a mother who works for herself. We have suffering sons starting for ICE. We wanna, whoever bring over here, we wanna they pay. Only that's what I'm saying. And I'm asking our governor and our state. We are taxpayer. We need pay back whatever they committed ICE. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Waris. Next up, we have Khadija, who's also a Somali business owner and a community organizer here in Carmel.
Hello, everybody, and my name is Khadija Warsame, and I'm also owner of the Sarah Cafe Shop. So we're talking about ice out, repair the damage. What is the damage? How's the damage affected for our community? How ice has damaged our community and the businesses. They also destroyed the hobbies of dreams and of small businesses. They also destroyed our immigration and who has come. They are great land, and the land of the free and the towns life is a part of. Also, they also damage our city, especially killing strays. So ice out, who pay the damage?
Thank you, Khadija. Next, we have Cecia, owner of Abby's Restaurant. Thank you.
De nada. Good afternoon. My name is Cecia. I'm owner of Abby's Restaurant. Over here? Okay. Thanks to everyone that showed up today. Our community, our workers, and our small business owners who are still standing despite everything we've been through. I'm here today because Metro Surge ICE operation didn't just target people, it targeted our livelihoods. It targets families, it targets neighborhoods, and it targets small minority-owned business like ours. When ICE came into our communities, fear followed. Customers stopped coming out. Workers were afraid to show up. Streets went quiet. Restaurants sat empty. Shops closed. Some businesses didn't reopen at all. This wasn't an enforcement. This was economic harm. Many of us lost weeks.
It's crazy to see some people that call themselves black leaders actually there. That doesn't have nothing to do with black Americans. Maybe with the Somalian community it does, but not with black Americans. I want to get into what I have last for today, and that was there was an ICE out meeting last night, and I wanted to show it because the St. Paul mayor was there. And I want people to listen closely to what she was saying.
Her is coming on to share how the city of St. Paul is responding in this moment to the ICE surge. Take it away, Mayor Her.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the grounding. It's when we talk about the moon, it's always very special to me because my name actually means Song of the Moon. So my name Kali in Hmong is actually Gautli, and I often used to think that like my name, the sun always gets all of the like sort of the glory, and the sun, as people talk about, things grow because of the sun, but I've come to really appreciate the moon and what the moon stands for and the pull that it has. And so like I always feel really thankful that I don't always have to be the person standing in the front and the one shining, but I'm the one doing the pulling and the changing of patterns and waves and things like that, at sometimes quietly at night and sometimes behind the scenes. And so, I just am so grateful to be here in this space with all of you. I know that, I've been there, but you all have been the ones who've stepped up and done the work and has really showed up and really showed the world what it means to be St. Paulites, to be Minnesotans, to be people who show up for one another. And we learned from this process. And was there more we could have done? Absolutely. And are there things that I would have done differently? Absolutely. But I am really proud of that. I had all of you to stand with me and to work through this with me. And I wanted to share tonight some of the things that we did because of all of your advocacy and the urging and the encouraging from every single one of you. And so I just want to say thank you for letting me be in this space, and thank you for letting me be able to come in and share this with you. So I will share that we as of today, we've passed 3 ordinances for our city. The first is that we do not allow ICE to stage in any of our city properties. The second is that ICE has to wear, or any federal agent has to wear identifying badges so that we know their names, who they are. And then the most recent one that we just signed was that they cannot have face coverings. They cannot cover their faces, when operating within our city. And
Damn,
so,
600,000
were things that I wish that we could have gotten out sooner. But it's a process for us to get everything read and get it processed so that we can sign it. But those 3 have been signed. We've also continued to work on the lawsuits where, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and the state have sued the DOJ, sued the federal government, and asked them to stop the have a temporary restraining order and to end Operation Metro Surge. The third part is that we've worked with, with our police and law enforcement, that there was much that we should have done and could have done. And that I think that we learned from that.
No
And so
cage,
we
no
actually worked with
mask,
our
investigation
police
cage.
department and asked them, one, that, and they've made the commitment that anytime anybody does not feel safe or that there's any issues for any reason, they call 911, that our police show up. And they at least come and figure out what the situation is. And then if needed, that they also record so that there's evidence to support the individuals that are there if they cannot interfere or and because we do not coordinate with ICE, and if it is and if they're telling us that they have the legal authorization to actually take someone or to interfere. And so we have gotten the commitment from our law enforcement that they will show up and they will absolutely for every single call. The thing is that we have one person designated in the police department to work specific on ICE. So if we're trying to figure out is ICE gathering somewhere, where is somebody that has been taken, that we have somebody dedicated to working on that in law enforcement. And then the third is that we've been working with our law enforcement officers to work with our community groups like the Immigrant Defense Network, so that should we have another incident in which there is a large gathering, that we let community lead those specific situations and not having police do that instead. That those are learnings that we got out of incidents that we had experienced here in our city. Then the last thing that we've done is that really looked at how the impact that this has had on our communities. There's been a two-pronged approach on this. That one, and we are waiving fees for vehicles that have been abandoned because of, if ICE has taken someone and their vehicles left behind, that we will waive those fees. The other is for businesses that have been hurting because of the impact of this surge, that liquor license can be, there's a delay in that so that they don't have to pay for those, because right now people are not generating the revenues that they normally would. And then also that for anybody who has a loan to the city, that we are going to defer those loan payments for the next 3 months until they can get caught up, and business hopefully will be doing better in these next few months to come. And then the last thing is that we'll be shifting money from our existing funds for emergency rental assistance. There's a lot of language in statute or in ordinance that sort of prevent us from using certain pools of funds in different ways. But we are working able to shift some money around so that we can help with rental assistance. So those are just some of the things that we've been working on. This is, not even referring to sort of the partnerships we're having with private entities like the Minneapolis Foundation and private businesses to put together a $4 million fund to distribute through organizations like LEDC and NBC so that we can get funds out to businesses that have been impacted. And then I will say that the last thing is that we did sign or send in a resolution to the governor asking him to issue an eviction moratorium. So those are just some things that we're doing. I kind of went through it really fast. There's a lot that's going on. We definitely have information on our website as to the things that we've worked on to address the issues on ICE. We are gathering the cost of the impact right now, and we have a number of legislative asks to the legislature on providing funding to address the increases in cost to us during this occupation. And then, there's a number of asks around that, and also asks around how to support businesses better and get funding from the state in order to do that. So anyways, that's what we have. There's a couple more other things too, that there's smaller pieces around our Immigrant Defense Network Fund. We're working with the different nonprofits and the resources that they have and coordinating that with them. But we're doing our sort of our best to try to pool resources together with our partners so that we can make the greatest impact.
Thank you so much, Mayor Herr. And we'll get the link from someone and drop, it's in the chat where folks can get more info, and just so appreciate. I felt like that was one of those videos where it's like, let me tell you the 50 million things I did in 2 months. And it's really incredible. So thanks for all your immediate leadership, and appreciate you moving what you can in the city, and then all.
Yeah, whatever. That was a St. Paul mayor. She was talking about ICE. I was actually kind of trying to read the comments. I have to go back to that because there was some really weird shit in there. But I want to switch it to, I want to talk about something that happened in Grand Rapids where a man was killed by police, and the whole story didn't come out. So listen to this mother as she's crying out for help.
They imitated my son.
Grab the thing. He on his stomach. Both hands behind his back. He's not. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh man. They shot him in the back of the head. And while they had his hand tied behind, while they were holding both his hands, they shot him in his head. And that's only 2 of the shots. They executed my baby. They held his hands behind his back. So what you see on the news, when you see the officer, not the one that was straddling him, that shot him in the back of the head, but the one holding the gun, that's the one that shot him in his hands while his partner was shooting him in the back of his head, y'all. No mother.
Wow, that is really, really, it's like, how many more times do we have to keep on hearing stories like this? And I really hate it. So I hope that DeQuane Trey Johnson gets justice. Because that shit is sad. I'm tired of having to come, like every name or just keeps on adding up. How many more of this shit do we have to go through? Like, this should be wild to me. And here's even another story. This is a 21-year-old that was found hanging in Atlanta, Georgia. I shouldn't say in Atlanta, but in Georgia. So listen to this story of Kyle Basinga.
What's up, y'all? Let's go. Kyle Basinga was a 21-year-old student at Georgia State University who was found deceased in Marietta, Georgia, aka Cobb County. He was found in a wooded area at a park called Fair Oaks Park. Now, of course, there's no national coverage about this story because of the nature in which they found Kyle. Basically, Kyle was dangling from a tree. And so Cobb County Police reported that there was no signs of foul play. We call BS on that. And so it's a very controversial situation because they're trying to downplay the seriousness of this particular tragedy. Now, because of the inability of the Cobb County Police Department to be more forthcoming and honest about what really happened, this has led people to call down to the police station asking for a more transparent investigation. And I'm told personally that Cobb County is now starting to hang up on individuals asking about what happened to Kyle Basinga. Now, we're all familiar with Atlanta. As a matter of fact, Atlanta is deemed to be the Black Wakanda of the South. But let me tell you, having lived there for so many years, those surrounding towns and counties like Butts County, Douglasville, Dalton, Blue Ridge, and Cobb County is nothing more and nothing less than Ku Klux Klan territory. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into these clips of people talking about this sad situation, and then I'll be back.
Stop what y'all doing and share this story out, please. So let me get this right. So a black man was found at Fair Oaks Park in Marietta, Georgia, yesterday morning. There haven't been no news coverage. 21-year-old Kyle Basinga, hope I'm saying that right, body was hanging from a tree along the walking trail. And not only that, y'all, this is the same college student that went missing on 11th of February. So he been missing about over a week. They don't know how long his body been, but they haven't let out no information. And guessing what? They already ruled it as no foul play. They trying to say that he did this to himself. But that's crazy because they haven't even released if he had any health issues or if he was on anything. And allegedly, police stated that they do have video of him entering the property alone. So that's why they feel he did this to himself. No, we need to see the cameras. Is there any cameras around there? Where's his people at? Nobody spoke up for him. Do he have family? If he was in college, I'm sure he probably have some family around. But it's sad, man. It's very sad. RIP, man, to little man. Hopefully you get your justice. Now, I'm about to see if a lot of content creators run with this story, or people in this world, on this planet, in this country, have that same energy that we just had for the people who lost their lives protesting. I mean, damn, this up right here. This damn near even worse. We know the history of this. And it's weird, it's automatically because it's ruled as no foul play. But just think about it, y'all. If he really wanted to take himself out, he could have did that. He is not about to go, let me go myself. And he ain't in jail? Nah.
So, again, Kyle Basinga down in Georgia. It's like, how many more people does it have to be? It's like really sad, even when it's, a 32-year-old seen on video again, but yet people are in an outrage about Alex Purdy or Renee Good. That's just wild to me. That's really just wild to me. So again, today at 12:30, the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee in the Senate will be meeting. You'll see tons of speakers. And I want people to really pay attention. You'll see Jamie Ali will be there. You'll see a ton of other speakers. But I do believe that is something that people need to pay attention to. I will be playing that tomorrow, bits and pieces of it. So again, until then, I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. And here you go with Ruga, GD Anthem, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place.
It ain't exclusive if you don't shoot.
Hey, what's the password though?
Don't start,
Shot. You flag down though. In here though. And your friend though?
Don't start.
Is your friend
Don't start, Shot.
Is your friend though? Are you trying to get in though? Oh, you look like a little lion like though. I got you though. Oh, a little Skittle though. No, I got you though. Like a Skittle though. They tried to bump me last time though.
Hey, ooh, hey, from them grave, on GDN, Man, this beat slap. Hey, they done let the GDs in the dough. Hey, they done let the GDs in the dough. Yeah, they done let the GDs in the dough. Hey, they done let the GDs in the dough. GDs. They done let the GDs in the dough. Ay, ooh, they done let the GDs in the dough. Ay, Trump shoulda freed Larry. Fuck is wrong with dude? Oh, you say you GDK? Fuck is wrong with you? He say cause you GDN, I can't do no song with you. And if the BDs find out, they gon' put me on the news. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch, stop picking sides. I'm so GD you can see it in my eyes. Lately they been seeing the G's on the rise. If they told you something about me, they telling lies.